Hey guys, today is Tuesday of Holy Week. I hope that the first couple days of Holy Week have been meaningful for you, for your family, and that this is just an amazing time of walking through the journey of Jesus' life leading up to the cross. And this is kind of a somber time, and today on Tuesday we're going to have sort of a somber message and a somber exercise. What we want you to do today is we want you to take some time to ponder Jesus' prophecies of his own death. You know, leading up to the time when Jesus went to the cross, this must have been a difficult time for him because we know that he knew what was coming. And he tried to even tell the disciples and to give them warnings of what was coming, and they couldn't seem to understand. These messages, the scriptures say, were hidden from them. Jesus tells them things like, soon the Son of Man will be taken and flogged and spat on and mocked and killed. And then in 3 days, he'll rise again. But the disciples, they didn't really understand what Jesus was talking about. They were really just confused by these words. So if you think about this from Jesus' perspective, not only is Jesus already at the point where he's having to deal with the fact that he's soon going to have to die for the sins of all humanity and take on all of that weight upon himself. But he is really having to do it alone, because as he tries to tell the disciples what is going on, trying to give them some expectation of what is to come, or possibly even just giving them some words that they will be able to reflect back on after his crucifixion comes, I have to assume that Jesus feels very alone at this point and that it's very painful for him. You know, we acknowledge that Jesus is fully God, but at the same time, fully man. And this fully man part of Jesus experiences pain and torment just the same as you would. So I want you to put yourself in his position for just a few minutes. Sit down and think, what would it be like for you if you knew that your death was just around the corner? If you knew that you were going to be horribly beat and mocked and flogged? I mean, this would be a really, really difficult time for us to live through if we had to live through what Jesus did. So we need to just put ourselves in Jesus' position. You know, whenever it comes to Easter, everyone's excited about the idea of getting to participate in Jesus' resurrection. That's a fun thing to participate in. But the truth is that we can't fully participate in the joy of the resurrection if we haven't walked through the death of Jesus, if we haven't walked through the pain that leads up to the cross. And so in preparation for Easter, what we want to do is just prepare our hearts and prepare our minds and begin to align our thoughts with what Jesus must have been feeling in these days that were leading up to the cross. So today, for Holy Tuesday, sit down, take a while to ponder Jesus' pain and suffering, even in his mind. And I want to challenge you to then write a letter to Jesus. Just write him a note. Just tell him in what way you might be able to identify with his suffering. Maybe give him thanks, give him your gratitude that he was willing to walk through this time for you. Whatever it is you want to say, and even ask the Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, what are you trying to speak to me? Are there things you're trying to put to death inside me right now? Are there ways that you want me to identify with Christ that I've never understood before? Sit down and ask those questions, and then just begin to write Jesus a note and see what comes out. And I think there'll be some really meaningful things that come out for you. And even parents, those of you who have kids, sit down with your kids and give them the same exercise. Just sit down and say, hey, this is what Jesus was going through. How do you think Jesus must have felt right now when none of his friends understood? And ask your kids, hey, what do you want to say to Jesus? What do you want to write to him? And help them write a letter and just express themselves. Because the more that we can identify with Jesus and his suffering as we lead up to Easter, the more of a miraculous, joy-filled day that we can experience together this Sunday, and the more that we can identify with the life of Christ, which is our goal, just to be close to him, just to understand his life and become more like him. So I bless you. I pray that God would speak incredible and deep things to your heart as you participate in Holy Week today. And we'll see you soon.